Mohamed Salah leads departing Premier League stars to add a new twist to the title race. On the first day of Mohamed Salah's 6th year as a Liverpool player, Mohamed Salah achieved another milestone. His 150th Premier League goal for the club was briefly delayed due to a penalty saved. He made a complete comeback in the second half of Liverpool's 4-2 win over Newcastle United with 2 goals of his own and 2 brilliant passes straight ahead for 2 more. Quite a souvenir for the fan base who expect Salah to be out for 30 days, should Egypt, led by their star player, reach the final of the Africa Cup of Nations for the 3rd time in 4 attempts. It is certain that Salah intends to be in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, on February 12 to attend the final match. "I want to win this competition, and I would love to win it," he said after leaving Anfield for Africa. "It's a great feeling every time I step on the field in a national team jersey, and it's something I can't take for granted." And Salah cannot take it that Liverpool will still be in their high standing by the time he returns, 8 games later, including 4 league games. Thanks to an exhilarating performance against Newcastle, there is a 3-point gap between first place and Aston Villa in second place, but the group of teams around the top remains tight. Salah was generous towards his teammates, saying, "We have great players, they can play in my position, and they can do what I do." But while Diogo Jota, in a Salah-like counter-attack, earned 1 penalty on Monday, Luis Diaz, with some clever Salah-like movement, another, and Trent Alexander-Arnold produced a glorious moment of audacity and adventure from Salah's favoured right flank. No one left Anfield imagining that Jurgen Klopp's side were reliably strong without their main man. Cody Gakpo was among those who thanked him for the tremendous quality of Salah's pass that allowed Gakpo to convert Liverpool's 3rd goal even with a miscontact. As was the case with Curtis Jones, who swept into Jota's midfield after Salah's brilliant pass played behind the Newcastle defence. Klopp noted, he cannot change the match, before adding an important note. The penalty, which was well within reach of Newcastle goalkeeper Martin Dubravka, left a dominant Liverpool unrewarded in the first half, a worrying situation in such a title race, where Liverpool's current advantage owes as much to 2 successive wins as it does to Arsenal losing twice. Within 3 days. Klopp said about Salah's reaction to the penalty kick he saved, "He cannot improve in the match, because he did that hundreds of times. The more goals you score, the more you get used to missing chances and understanding what you have to do to keep going and improve." And that's what Mo did. There is a subtext of advice in that note for Darwin Núñez, the young striker whose break in front of goal has been broken just once in his last 14 games. While Klopp emphasized Darwin's brilliance in passing the ball for Salah's first goal, the Uruguayan will now bear his share of the responsibility to compensate for Salah's goals. He does so without a dynamic scoring streak to encourage him. The importance of Salah's contribution is illustrated by statistics. More than half of Liverpool's goals in the Premier League so far this season have involved Al Masry as a striker or assistant. In all competitions, his 18 goals in 27 games is double Jota's 9. Ominously for Liverpool, there has been a historical tendency, during Klopp's tenure, to be less effective in January than in December, although they have been relatively fortunate with how much damage Salah's absence has caused them at the Africa Cup of Nations previously. The 2019 Nations Cup was a summer tournament played outside the domestic program. In 2022, when Egypt suffered heartbreak, losing to Senegal on penalties in the final, Salah missed just 2 Premier League matches. The impact on this season seems greater. Salah's absence is coupled with the absence of Wataru Endo, who has an increasing influence in Liverpool's midfield, and who will participate with Japan in the Asian Cup in Qatar, which is being held simultaneously with the African Cup of Nations. Tottenham Hotspur, who is ranked 5th in the standings, is also awaiting the departure of the most prominent player, Son Heung-min, on his way to Qatar with South Korea. Like Salah at Liverpool, Son is Tottenham's top scorer this season by a wide margin. He likened his impending absence to Harry Kane's periods of absence due to injury in the years that Son and Kane used to share major responsibility in Tottenham's attack. "When Harry was out due to injuries, I felt I needed to step up from previous years," Son said. "I hope that our players feel that they need to intervene in this type of situation. I hope that everyone who plays in an attacking position can score as many goals as possible and move us to a better position. Tottenham's winter burden goes beyond simply missing their best striker, just 6 months after former spearhead Kane joined Bayern Munich. Senegal and Mali's Africa Cup of Nations call-ups for Pape Matar Sarr and Yves Bissouma will mean major adjustments to Tottenham's midfield. About 40 players from England's top flight have been earmarked to participate in the Africa Cup of Nations or the Asian Cup. Manchester United excludes goalkeeper Andre Onana with Cameroon and midfielder Sofiane Amrabat with Morocco. Wolverhampton Wanderers will learn how much they rely on Korean Hwang Hee-chan, whose energy and goals have fueled his impressive form over the past month in the league. To gauge the potentially significant impact the semi-annual African and Asian football fixtures will have on the Premier League over the next 4 to 6 weeks, just take a quick look at the scorers leaderboard. Salah, Son and Hwang are 3 of the 6 men to have reached double figures so far on the global pitch of elite English football.